Yeah, so we'll start recording at this particular moment onwards. Yeah, so this is what we have hapo juu tu. The index file haina kitu ya muhimu hapa ndani. So let's do the first thing we wanna do is we are not going to do inline styling since at least wenye tumebaki hapa you get unaelewa the other styling thing. So I'm going to just use a link to an external style. Uh, and the need itakuwa text niacha na type hapa, mimi sijashikia kwa kichwa. Sasa tu niambie file nyingine hapa, new file index.css, control save, save there, alafu nikuje niweka hapa ./index.css. So I'll just test out whether kila kitu inafanya, just selecting the body and doing the background to black. It's not working guys. Nimekosea wapi? Niko peke yangu huku ama tuko wengi? Hii ni yangu, yeah. I've just said a background of black on the body. The file. Okay, let me send the file to you. Yeah, you can just pull it from the website. My problem iko hapa juu. My href is not working. Anyway, let's add a type here. Tuweke text. Kuna vile inafaa ikae. Is it that one? No, not. Wadau hapa sijui. Hebu nisaidieni kwanza. Eh, href mbele. Okay, let's try that. So niandike hapa. Okay. But ipigi nduru inakataa. Yes. Oh, mi nilikuwa nimelalia masikio bwana, msijali. It's called coding. Yeah, it will work. So thank you Jeremy. Hapa umenisaidia sana. Mimi kama mwalimu nilikuwa nimelalia masikio. Oh, John, you have missed a lot of things in fact. Jeremy had a good presentation through his projects. Na amepresent a lot of things. So ulimiss hiyo na mimi sikuwa na record. But okay. So let's just now we are going to style this page. Tuone vile inaonekana. I was just testing kama CSS yangu imekuwa linked vizuri. Yeah, I had misplaced some things hapa. So it should be rel style sheet type text CSS then the href itself. Without the rel it won't work because it can't know hii link umeweka hapa ni ya nini, because there are several types of this realize some sort of, yeah, they identify the link you are putting here so that it can be interpreted as a style sheet, not just some other asset or just HTML file. So I go back here na niweke white venye inafaa kuwa, reload the page, there we go, that's what we have. So let's start from the common thing. Ukiangalia page yangu hapa hivi, no, not there. Hapa hivi it's like there's a space around each element kwa hii page. So we are going to start by doing resetting all things before we start doing the styling. So the starting point is easy, but before I start writing the CSS, let's adjust our file a bit, at least in the capable of holding the CSS. So the first thing is the header. So I wouldn't like to do my header just ikiwa hivyo. So I like wrapping my header in a div. They are really easy. The header is really hard to style sometimes. So you wanna wrap it in something else to be able to style it easily. And I'm going to use attributes. So the first one shall be the class of an navbar. Then I shall add a class here, niseme navbar header. So far hata kama nimeweka hizo navbar headers, nothing is happening. So yeah, the next thing I'm going to add a class here. Jeremy, I will share both a file without these classes and a file with these classes. So this shall be our logo here. Then the next one is a class of menu. John, to be clear on where I'm adding classes, this is another attribute. It's like the ones that we have been using here, the type, the ID, the for, it's another attribute. But for this, it's for selecting. So for example, hapa tukiselect, I selected using the body. Body here is a selector. And I was able to change the class name to the background color to black. But if I don't want to use the body, I was to use something like dot body. If I refresh hapa, hakuna kitu ina happen. But if I come here to my body and add a class here and I say body and I refresh the page, that's what should happen. Like ina select your body yote. So these are selectors. Classes can be used as selectors, and also kuna mahali kwingine zinatumika in JavaScript to manipulate the DOM. Jeremy, you only used your ID to manipulate the DOM, but now you could even select classes to manipulate your DOM. So for this, for the rest, kufikia hapa nitaachia hapa, then we shall style this one using this menu class or so. The next portion ni hiyo. Sijui imefungiwa wapi, I'm just confirming, yeah. So this is our sign up form. I'll call this one a class, sign up dash form. Always when writing classes, it should be a single name. For example, hii sign up form ni single name, only that hii imespeciwa na dash. You could also do like a sign up underscore form. That's a single name, but if you do sign up form, these are the two classes. Currently hii div yetu iko na classes 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 classes. Always, if you only want a single class, make sure one is single name, either separated by an underscore or a dash. So that's a sign up form, our form. Then my H1 here, I'm going to give it a class of, I'll call it a title. Keep it tag, let me call this one a description. Not really a description, but that's the class I've chosen for it. Then my form here, I'm going to give it a single class of form. No, form. So far there's nothing happening here because everything is as blank as it is. So I don't think, okay, let me do something here. Class, I'm going to do a button. And this one shall have the same class, except this one is a reset. button, na hii nitaongeza class nyingine inaitwa submit button. So this is an instance of doing two classes in the same element. So class ya kwanza ni hiyo, class ya pili ni hii. So classes are attributes, but they are important when styling. They are used critically in styling. So yeah, I think hizo ndizo classes pekee nitaongeza, the rest I'll try to style them. I don't want to write a lot of classes hapa. Those are enough to go. So let's style. I'm going to use a star there. Your star. With this star, I mean select everything, like everything. So everything, I mean select every tag in this page. Select every tag on this page. That's a star what it does. Now I'm going to do some few things here. I'm going to set their margins to 0 and also their padding to 0. And one more attribute I would like to add is the box sizing to border box. If I may explain, cancel. So let me just reload the page. Mnaona kila kitu imemove kwenda huku nyuma kabisa, like now everything is on the wall of the page, like huko kando kabisa. Reason being, for example, the body tag by default inakuanga na margin, no, some padding. So you have to reset that padding, otherwise ukianza kuandika style yako it might be it's not working out. So always this is called resetting every element. Box sizing kazi yake ni, unaona wakati unaongeza padding ina acha niache ku explain story mingi, I explain the thing. Just do it below the header here, niseme box sizing. So let me do div dot somehow hii itakuwa na ni mrefu, but let me just explain it. So div plus custom box, ndani yake kuna div class inner box. I need to close this, close that. So I've done some custom box and the inner box. So let me do the selecting. I'm going to select the custom box and add some styling to it. For example, I'm just going to do a width of 300 pixels, background of I could just use here red, but I just want to do a lighter background. Let's just use red. Yes, and I'm going to do a height of 300 pixels like that. Refresh the page. This is our box here, iko na hiyo height na width ya 300 pixels. Now let me do the inner box. Inner box niseme width equals to 100%, height equals to 100%. What does this mean? Width 100% inamaanisha juu inner box iko ndani ya custom box, this class inner box ama this element is in this element, inamaanisha it will read the height from the parent. So the parent of inner box is this custom box. Yeah, I have set the inner box width to 100, like sasa itafanana the parent, the height and the size. If I change the background here to red, no, let's do another color, blue. I refresh the page, you realize like blue imekuja juu because the parents and the child have the same height. So let's do, I'm changing these colors. So for this, I'm changing to this one to RGB 000, and I'm doing a 0.4. Unaona hiyo kale imefanya imekuwa darker. It's because hii ya juu, the inner box has a background ya black but with the opacity ya chini. It's black but low opacity. So what does RGB stand for? Red, green and blue. Otherwise hii ingine A na stand for alpha level. So an alpha level goes from 0.1 to to 1. That is it. So I go to 1 here, I refresh the page, black inakuja juu, but I reduce this to point something like 6. Black iko juu but iko na opacity ya chini, RGBA, red, green and blue. Red, green and blue. So if you have 000, that's black, but if you have the largest I think ni bytes ama ni nini, it's 255. So if I have 255 hapa, this will be white. Yeah, so that is white. If I just do white RGBA 1, yeah, there we go. Utaiona juu ni white. So I'm just going to do the black one like that. So let's do something else here. So we have a custom box here with the width of that, but I also add a padding of like that pixels. Refresh the page. So you see this one has been able to expand outwards. Now it has been able to take care of the child itself. Let's say here we have, I can do that one there. Let's say here we do like, I'm going to just do an flow to hidden. Somebody has a question here. Yes, John. Yes, padding. Acha turudi hapa tu. So padding ni hii yenye imeongeza aka space hapa nje. Yeah. So let's do something else. So we have padding here that, but let's look at something. Yeah, this one is a good example. Hapa tuliset width equals to 300 pixels, height equals to 300 pixels, si ndio? That's fixed width and fixed height. This is another, this is called DevTools. If I right click, nitaona hapa inasema inspect. Umeona? So if I click inspect, itafungua kitu inaitwa DevTools. So I want to inspect this hii box yetu iko aje. If I hit here, ikuja hapa kwa hii box, this is what we will see. So the inner box is 300 by 300 pixels. I'm unable to select the outer box. Yeah, but if we look at the outer box, ukiangalia hapa juu, if you can be able to see 360 by 360. Umeona? Like imeongeza 30 pixels to that box. So height ilikuwa 300 pixels. Ukiongeza padding ya juu 30 pixels na padding ya chini 30 pixels inakuwa 360. Width ilikuwa 300 pixels. If you add the left 30 pixels and the right 30 pixels, height inakuwa, yani width inakuwa 360. Like it has increased its own width by adding that padding. So if we come here and do that to the box sizing and to set it to border box and come here and refresh the page, you realize that the inner size will reduce kuja 240 pixels to 240 pixels, but here nje it may remain at 300 by 300 pixels. So what border box does is to make sure you don't exceed your boundaries going out. Umeona? Kama ulikuwa na some width element na ilikuwa na fixed width, fixed height, you don't want to go out. By default, you can expand the parent element, but that's not what you want. CSS yako ita fail ama you'll be having some things that you don't like on your site. Yeah. So you just need to reset every element to have a box sizing of border box. In order, he width, he padding na margin, they be taken care of by the element itself. If you expand more than the given dimensions. Yeah, it takes long to explain the resetting thing, but at least just know box sizing. Ukianza kuongeza padding kwa kitu na ulikuwa umepea fixed width, fixed height, alafu unaona ni kama haifanyi venye unataka, just know you never reset your box sizing. I think we are good with this. With time utaitumia na utaelewa mbona you have to reset all these three items. kutoa margin kwa kila element na kutoa padding kwa kila element na kuset box sizing to the border box. Take care of the border as well. So let's start writing our CSS. So tutaanza tu kutoka juu kwenda chini, and I'm just going to train you also on dark mode and light mode on the fly. Yes. Right. And all those. Okay. So let's say this is your folder, working folder. Wewe sahii uko na maybe index.html peke yake. Only me, for my case, I have this, there is record, then we have the logo and the index CSS itself here. So how did I add these files? The only file you saw as create is the index.html. So I'm going to create another file, another HTML file. I just right clicked on my folder here, new file, and niseme login.html. I save. So itaniuliza mahali nitasave hapo tu kwa hiyo folder, in my code folder there. Ndio hii hapa imekuja login.html. I'm going to start writing my HTML here. Ni enter, halafu niseme login. I want to add my styling, a link to my styling. Yenye unajua ni inline styling, ile yenye tulikuwa tunafanya hivi style. That's what you are familiar with. But this is not a good option when it comes to writing long lines of CSS. Since your file itakuwa mrefu, and yet that's not the content of your file, it's just CSS in your file. So we opted, instead of doing inline styling like this, ile tulikuwa tunafanya nini, we decided to use an external link. They are called external CSS files. So instead of these inline styles, using inline styles, you need to create that style with an extension of .css. Using .html, just .css. So right click, new file, save the file, sema. So tuseme mimi nimefungua hiyo file na na save, ni delete hiyo kitu hapo ndani, niseme login.css, then hit save. Now I have my CSS here. I want to pull it into the file. Let's do something here in the body. Let me just add some button here, niseme button. So I want to pull my login, open in browser. So sahii button yetu inaonekana hivi. I want to link my hii login.css kuja kwa login.html. By the way, the file naming convention ama files zenye unatumia doesn't matter, but make sure kama ni CSS inaisha na .css, kama ni HTML inaisha na .html. To link it, you start typing link, itakuletea option ya autocomplete, nitumie enter, ni autocomplete. You see this href here? This is where we link our file. Since our file is within the same folder we are working with, I can do login.css. So there's nothing, of course, so let's do something in the login.css. So kwa login.css ni select body and niseme background red. The style has been linked to this page. Now I can be able to style the page using login.css. We style login.html. That's how it was. Going back to index.html. So let's flow down. The first thing we had is the navbar header, then we had this sign up form, and the rest of the stuff. So I'll just go that way, but niliwaambia nitawafunza both things at the same time. So I'll just go and I'll start from root. Not helping me finish this file, meaning hii kitu iko wrong. Nope, nope. Let's just do root. Let me avoid using root, hiyo italeta shida mbele. Let's say we have the body here, and niseme I want to have my background color to white, my color to black. That's the normal stuff of whatever is here. Here, color black, background white. Then the next thing is the same. That's it for the body. But I don't want this to be fixed. So what I can do is include a few things. Key body to repair class, I think we gave it a class of, no, we didn't. Let's give this a class of body. So this goes for the dot body there, but I want these things to be dynamic. So how do you do dynamic colors or dynamic attributes? So I want to do here is my background is white, my color is black. Then to reference them, I'm going to do use a var and take a var background to var background. This is a variable background, and this one is a variable color to color. So if I refresh the page, it will look the same, but if I switch these ones to black and white, that's what we have. It will switch the color to white and the background to black. Right, so I'll comment these ones out, niweke hizo zingine hapa, niweke tu white hapa, alafu niweke hapa black. To comment your style sheet, always forward slash star, mahali unafunga ni star forward slash, or if you highlight like this, control slash, ita comment out hizo vitu zenye ulikuwa umeselect. So when down, we are done with the first thing. Then the next thing is to select our navbar and styling it. So let me do dot navbar. Na nitaipea height here 60 pixels. Background niseme want to do a different background here, so niseme blue. So if I refresh this, unaona this my navbar, but the rest of the content iko nje kabisa, haiko within mahali nafaa. Ukiona the rest of the content has moved upwards because my navbar is small, 60 pixels, and everything is overflowing down. We could hide everything by coming here hapa ndani ya navbar and we say overflow. If something is overflowing, you use overflow hidden and it will be on. So there's nothing overflowing, none may cut too, and everything is good. So the next thing is we look at the header. It has the class nav header. Select that, copy, come to your file, do dot nav header, and let's say height equals to 100%. Then add the one more thing, padding equals to, I want to just do a padding of 20 pixels. So itasongesha kila kitu kwenda ndani hivyo kwenda katikati. After the nav bar header, we have the rest of the stuff here, logo and the menu. So let's style them. So this I'll start styling them from here by adding a few attributes. The first one is display. I'm going to change this one to flex. After changing display to flex, I'm going to say align items center. So this is going to align items center, both top and bottom. Ukiangalia hizi ziko hivyo but zinakaa zimedisappear, but here is hapo ziko hapo na imezieka one after the other, imezipanga hivi across. To continue down, I like to select my dot menu and I say also to display to flex and the list style type to none. So if I refresh, hazionekani but ziko hapo. Let me change their color to something like a white. Yes. Yeah. Okay, it's not picking. Just a moment. So we have UL menu, LI, and the A tags. Here they go. So inakataa juu tag zote by default zinakuanga na color ya blue, so you have to reset that color too. So the best way of resetting the color, ukianga shida, just go down, go dot menu. Now I want to select all a tags in the menu, just these tags, a tags in the menu, not the li but a tags, though they're under li. Then I can be able to force the color to another color. Refresh the page. Now the color has been forced to white. So going back to our file here, we have the logo here. I select it, go to my style. So haikuwa hii menu ilikuja later, so I'll start by the logo here, dot logo, and niseme height equals to, let's see what 100% will do. So imeset height to 100%, that's a height of 60 pixels. Na overflow kwenda chini, meaning it's really larger than what we have. So I'm just going to set this one to a fixed height, and I'm going to reduce some padding here. I'm going to change the padding. Instead of 20 pixels top and bottom, it will only remain me with 20 pixels of height. So I'm just going to do 20 pixels, just 10 pixels juu na chini, niachie 40 pixels, so that I can be able to do 20 pixels left and right. So this one is top, bottom, left, right. So top, bottom, left, right, that's good. Then I'm going to set my logo height to the remaining value of 40 pixels. Inakataa still, CSS problems. So you need to go and alter the image itself. That way you will have utakuwa solve your problem. So I select the image in the logo and I set its height to 100% of its parent. Refresh the page. Now the logo has been reset well and it's now fitting the navigation bar. The next thing ni kuangalia hii menu. I want to push the menu to the end here, mwisho kabisa, sitaki ikiwa huku mwanzo. So how can I do that? To easily do that, I could have done here we have a format. Ya kwanza ni I set the margin left to auto, itaisongesha mwisho, or since I use the display flex kwa the parent, that's the navbar header, I could do another item here, just for content. Just for content space between. Like now, hii content yenye iko hapa juu, make sure iko just right mwisho, like just have some space between. We have another just for content which is called just for content center. Kila kitu inakuja katikati. And also under align, we have align items baseline. Kila kitu itasonga chini na zilingana in the baseline. But it's decided kila kitu zilingana at the center. Yeah. And just the content to space between. So space between iko na kadash hapa katikati. There we go. Kila kitu iko kando kando. So for my menu, I think that's for hiyo imesonga uko na hiyo. So now my menu list here, I use the display flex. I could also add another one called gap. The same maybe 10px. Let me see. Now the gap will add some gaps between each list item, because under the menu, the URL, that's the menu, they have list items. Using gap will add gap, or another way you could have added the space between the elements here is if you go to the menu, that's dot menu, and select li and say margin right. I want the margin right of 20px. So this one will also separate them, just adding some margin to the right there, like that. So I will go with the simpler one yenye itanipea niandike lines mingi, that one. So just gap. After doing a gap, let me do a gap of 20px. Okay. The next thing is, yes, yes, John, John, you have raised your hand. Yes. CSS, I'm not correcting anything. I'm saying what we are doing here is Robin aliweka vizuri sana. Uliona ile page yenye tulikuwa nayo haikuwa na nguo. For example, this form. It's just looking the way it's looking. Now to make it look better, we are using CSS. Cascading style sheet. Yeah, just styling. Yeah, that's the work of CSS. Kustyle tu page ionekane ikiwa safi. So if we look at our A tags here, home, services, about us, yes, yes, no, you can't do it with HTML. Ni CSS inaifanyisha. Yeah, CSS ndio inafanya tu hizo pages zenye mnaona hapo online zikuwe safi zenye ziko. Like even if you were to jump anywhere, you have to write that CSS. So let's continue. Ukiangalia link zetu ziko na underscore na somehow zinakaa small small ama the weight is not good. So let's do that. So dot menu A, I'm going to say uh, text decoration, text decoration to none. Text decoration to none ni kutoa hizo underlines zenye ziko hapo chini. Then the next thing we wanna do is just increase the font weight a bit. Font weight tuseme hata 500, like a heavier font. Yes. Oh, so you might not. Yes. Yeah. No. HTML somehow iko na vitu mingi, but at least we covered HTML. Now we cover CSS a bit. Then sasa tutakuwa tunafanya the same thing. Tunafika HTML, tunafanya CSS. Yes. Your network is gone again. Hata mimi acha nikunywe maji kidogo. Jeremy, umerudi? Okay. Oh. Ulikuwa na swali ama nini tunaendelea? Yes, somebody has. Yes, John. Yes. Yes. Okay, so if you want them to balance in one ruler, let's reach there. Just a moment. I'm finishing hapo hapa juu, ndio tukitoka hapa juu tumalizane to we are finished on this navigation bar. Right. So under here tumeweka hiyo A tag. These are our A tags. If you hover na uangalia upon the bottom left, unaweza ona some link. That's the link usually you see when you hover over a button kama hiyo. If you hover over this, that's the link you see here. Yeah, so that's where we go. Iko hapo chini across. So let me finish up styling hapo juu. I want to add a few things here. For example, the padding. I want to have padding top and bottom of those, maybe left and right of those links. So I like to do 20px, but that one work, it hasn't worked so good. So I'll do 20 pixels top and bottom and 10 pixels left and right, na zitaonekana hivyo. That's what they will look like. The next thing is I want to add another color on hover. So dot menu a, wakati mtu ana hover, like when somebody is hovering hapa juu, nini inafaa happen? That's what you do here. So I'll just like to say here a background of dark blue, and maybe we do the color to remain white. Color to remain white. So if I refresh and I hover hapo, naona kuna hiyo background ya dark blue na color ni white. Yeah, that's on hover. So hii inakaa mrefu sana, but still better, I can say. So let me increase this to 20, reduce the gap to 10. So ni hivyo itaonekana, mtu akihover hapo juu inamwambia ako on which link at that particular moment. Then we are done with the navigation bar, since I really sitataka kuweka sites mingi. Then we go to the form itself. Now this sign up form. If we are in the form, now let me just minimize this. This is the sign up form, and this is the class holding the sign up form. So under our sign up form, let me copy the class, go here, dot sign up form. If we look into the sign up form, we have the title, we have the description. So this can be styled separately, dot title. Let me do that there. So the title, I want it to be at the center, of course. So text align center. For the description, kila kitu iko sawa, just we just let's edit something there. So dot description, we say font size 14px. Then that's what we have. So title imekuja katikati, description yetu ime reduce the font size. Then we just add some margin the bottom of the title itself. So niweke 10px, refresh the page, itakuwa imesonga chini but you won't notice. So let me style the sign up form itself. I don't want a really large sign up form, so I'm going to set the width to 500px. That's the max width inaweza enda. Then I'm going to set the background color. Background to be something like white smoke. White lakini akaa grayish. Then the next thing I'm going to do is add enough padding to the form itself. That's padding. Then kitu ingine ni kusema margin niweke I'm just adding a margin to auto, ita center hiyo form yenyewe. The form itself will be centered there hapo katikati. After doing a margin of auto, I like to do a border radius on the form, maybe 10 pixels. Ni kadogo utakaona, let me increase this to 20 at that. There we go, it's that pixels, but that's too large, 20 pixels. Hii color siku yake inaonekana vizuri. There we go. So red, unaona ukiangalia hapa border ni kama iko na some radius, iko circular in a form. So if you just increase this value to a larger value, border radius inaenda ikienda juu. So we don't really want that large, just a small border radius. Now, how do we put the input zikae in a single line? So in the form, we have some things called labels. So this we have the form. Then ndani kuna labels. The label and input, to explain on, these are inline items. So what are inline items and what are block items? Inline items ni zile zenye if you put them together zitakaa tu moja nyuma ingine mbele ingine mbele ingine mbele. Block items ukiweka tu moja, for example this h1 is a block item, zitaflow tu kwenda chini h1 h1, but if you do a p tag is also a block item, so iko chini chini chini, but input, label and the others, for example the anchor tag, hizo they are inline items. Like ukiweka hapa moja na uweke anchor tag ingine immediately, they'll just be together pamoja pamoja, ni kama zimeshika. So the label and the input are always inline items by default, so we need to change the default behavior. So I'm selecting the form, and after selecting the form I select the label and I say I want to change its display from inline block to block. So how many display styles we have? I've already used the flex, so this one is called a block. There are several including display grid. For example, a display ya table, ile yenye table inaonekana, that's a display table. So if I refresh this, you realize that our inputs now sasa zinaenda kwenda chini in that order. Ziko on the same line kwenda chini because I've just changed the display style of the label to block. So as we go on, I'll just start up, I think, yeah, the dot form, a div. So I'm selecting the form and all the divs in the form. That's the form here and these divs. That's what I'm selecting. Then I'm going to add a margin bottom. Kila moja space ipeane space kwa ingine. The refresh zimesonga kwenda chini. Then the next thing I wanna do is, after I've been given some spacing, ni kuangalia what's my next thing. I want to adjust the label. So the label, where's the label? Here I see it is form label. I want to change the font size to something like 14px. And in fact, now this is chaining styles. I selected the form label, and I'm also going to select the form dot form input. So I have selected the label and the input. If I refresh, now you realize kila kitu iko tu kando, and the inputs also they have a display of block. So one thing I can add here is the width niseme 100%. So they will cover, for example, kama ni for the inputs, they will just cover the entire given width. Also, one thing to add here, I'm changing the third one, dot form, na hiyo yenye hatuna text area. So text area ni hii yenye itaki kufuata rules. We also want to have a width of 100 and a display of block. So I save the file, reload the page, imechukua width ya 100%. The next thing we wanna do is now edit the styling of this, like the inputs, the way they look. So dot form, I could do div, and then I do the input. This is the path to what I want to style. For example, the form, the div, I want to style inputs. To follow here ni form, yes. This div, yes. Input, yes. That's what I want to style. Now this ina select tu kila kitu yenye iko na hii format. Form, div, input. So what I want to do here is add some padding of 10px. Refresh the page, zimekuwa kubwa kidogo. The next kuna yako ka highlight yenye kanakuja on focus. Sikapendi ama jam, but so let me. So ukiangalia label na input zinakaa zimeshikana, they are really close to each other. So I want to add some margin zisishikane hivyo sana. So I'm just selecting the dot form label itself on its own. Hii nilifanya chaining, so siwezi adjust hapa because it's changed with other classes. I only want to affect the label. So to affect the label, I'll just do that and say margin bottom niseme 10 pixels. So if I refresh, the margin bottom inakuja but too large, so I only need 6, I think. Yeah, that's what we have. If you look at the fill in the form below to beside that, and names zinakaa zimeshikana. So I go to the description and add some spacing. So to add the spacing, I'm also going to use margin. So dot description, margin bottom 10 pixels. So margin bottom inaongeza ako ka space ka 10 pixels below. Margin right to the right and margin left to the left, margin top to on the top. There we go. Let's continue styling the inputs themselves. So going down the div, tulikuwa tumeweka padding ya 10 pixels. Um, font size, I want only 16 px. I want a border radius of 10 px. So border radius ni ako kenye kamekuja hiyo hako ka circular. Na hiyo font size 14 pixels ndio hiyo. So the next thing ni kuangalia on the borders and hiyo highlight yenye inakuja wakati mtu amefocus. So let me also change here dot form text area. Yeah. So let's complete the styling. So you just need to convert this ikae young, it look great. So I don't want a border none. Sitaki border yoyote hapo. All borders should go. Now there are no borders. But now we have a problem. Kuna hii highlight inakuja, just want to change its color something else and focus. So what I do is nitacopy hii selector vile iko, ni paste hapa chini, na kitu yenye nitafanya ni kuongeza a few something here called focus, na hii input on focus nini inafai happen. Kitu nataka ifanye ni outline color, nataka ikae red. So let's refresh the page. Outline. Let me kill the outline here. Outline. That's when nilisema tutumie sublime text. You don't have like text combinations. So if I select there is no outline, so you don't. Now I want to focus it wakati imekuwa focused. Form focus, outline color red. So let me switch this one to a complete selector or a complete attribute. So I want a 2 pixels solid blue color. That's for the outline. Still it's not appearing, meaning I need to maybe know the right focus. Refresh. Still not working. So outline is not working. So the next thing you want to try out is the border. Will it change if you focus? Nope. Am I doing the wrong selectors here? For those from the CSS world. Yes, I've saved. Proving. That's what happens when you write CSS, things don't work out. So unakufanga hapo ukitafuta shida ilikuwa gani. But yeah, now we need to select the outline, I think, not everything. So outline, then when focused, we have focus, and let me do the easier one. One need to happen. And hover still not working. Let me force issues here a bit. Still nothing working out. So it means hapa hivi kuna vitu mingi zime happen. It does happen. I'm also not getting why it's failing to even focus or do something of sort. Nope, nothing is working. I will get back to this as we were on. So after doing your input like this, the next thing you want to work on is your buttons. So for the buttons, we said they have a class of button, and we have different, the reset and the submit button. So that's the dot form button. Hii ni sit and set. Nope. So for that, we are going to do a border of none. So boda nane sahii kuna hako kaboda ka black hapo, ukikatoa kanatoka kabisa. The outline ile wakati unaka click kanaleta hiyo before save maybe it's not appearing, but sometimes kuna ile outline yakuja kwa button when you are clicking on the button, so you also need to remove it. The next thing you wanna do is this is .form.button. The font size you want to, yes, yes. Mm, yeah, it's very critical. Bila CSS form yako itaonekana vile iko. So the button sign may increase font size but it's not working out. It's because button yenyewe iko na fixed height and size. Let's continue styling it. The padding we do here is I like doing a 15 px top bottom with a 25 px left right. So that's our button, how they look like. Then after doing that is we do a border radius, but usually wakati kuna button kubwa ka hii, border radius is not good, but it's because we have a border radius on the inputs, we shall have a border radius on the buttons too. So that's for the buttons. Then after doing that, we need to go to, yeah, at least sahi form yetu si mbaya. So let's change the background and tuone nini ina happen. So going back to the form itself, sign up form, background red and doing white smoke. That's how the form will look like. And let me add a few things here. Yes, outline, outline, outline. Outline imekataa. Okay, where? Ah, hapa niseme. Oh, outline niliweka none, so maybe what I can do, let me just comment out. Let me comment these ones out like that and do an outline. No, outline. Let's do a border of 2 pixels solid red. Right. Hiyo inaitwa refreshing the page itself. Hello bwana, siwezi ingia meeting, sijui, siwezi like, si I'm joining. si nimeulizia kuingia. Yeah, I'm even wondering how is that happening. So hebu ambia wase watulie kidogo. Hello, mi net yangu bwana, nilirefresh page ya meeting alafu imekataa kuniweka meeting, so I'm like okay, I think screen yangu imefika bwana, hata nimeshtuka. So umeona hapa hivi nimeweka, like that's how it's looking now after nimeweka hii border radius ama border 2 pixels solid red. Sometimes CSS it can frustrate you, so it's not nothing new. No, so kitu niliongeza ni font size, yes, alafu button yenyewe nikaongezea padding. Font size yeah, na padding hiyo. Padding nimeweka 15 pixels, so hii inamaanisha top and the bottom. 925 pixels top and the bottom, that's the shorthand. You have ile long hand, unaanza na top, unasema left 25 pixels, unasema bottom 15 pixels, unasema left 25 pixels. No, so ni top left, no, top right, bottom left. Umeona? Top right, bottom left. That's what I did with my padding. It's the same thing. So kitu ingine naweza fanya hapa ni hii. So instead of doing the border here, I'll just say dot submit button, niseme border 62 pixels solid blue, na hiyo button ingine ile ilikuwa ya reset, niseme 2 pixels red, reset submit button, na hii ni reset button I think, dot reset button. There we go. Moja ni blue, ingine ni red because I have reset them out. Sijui mbona border zilikuwa zinakataa hapa juu. Let me fix that one out too. Hii yenye ilikataa hapa, input niseme border 2 pixels solid red because you will need to understand mbona haifanyi. So wapi border hapa juu? Yeah. Like lazima ujue mbona hii kitu yenye nimefanya ifanye, otherwise utashindwa mbona kila kitu ifanye. So the inputs hivyo yeah, but sitaki zichange hivyo. I just want to set them none here till when somebody hovers. I think I did on hover mahali hapa juu. I did it here, hover there. So let me do on hover, I change the border, refresh, haileti kitu yoyote hata on focus. So let me focus too. Input focus, refresh, haileti kitu yoyote. And even if I were to push this thing content, so when I hover inafanya hivyo. Let me get rid of hover na nibaki na focus peke yake. On focus imeanza kubehave like you ask mbona iko inafanya, sasa hii inafanya. Yeah, it's normal with CSS. They don't work when you want them to work. So focus, outline none, yeah. Let me try see that one. Now it's working vile nilikuwa nataka. If you focus on an input inakufanyia hivyo. But instead of doing border none, I want to do 2 pixels solid transparent. That way haita increase size nikikiliki ati ni increase size. Itabaki tu hivyo increased. It just focuses it. Like hakuna kitu imechange hapa tofauti yenye unaweza sema imefanya ikaanza kufocus. Yeah, that is for input type. Yani ukiweka haka ka colon focus, then it will help you focus. Since masaa imesonga na hata mi kuna kazi nafaa nifanye, we shall do the last final part. Unaona font size yetu venye iko hii font family, it's not the good one, si ndio? So let's give it a push. So I'll just go to Google Fonts, and open it. Go to Google Fonts. Kuna font family nimesha select hapa. Unaweza select anything, for example Kablamo, lakini mi nimeselect Rubik. So I'll just clear hapa ndo muone vile selection inafanya. So sahii sina font yoyote. Let's say we want to use Kablamo. Nita select Kablamo, itakuja hivi. Kitu nitafanya, I'll just select 400 plus and that is it. Kitu nitafanya, I just want to use it as an import. Ni copy your link, nikuja hapa kwa style yangu hapa juu kabisa on the start, ni paste hapa. So nitatoa hizo style tags hapa juu ni CSS. I just wanted the art import. Kumbuka iko na semicolon hapo mwisho. Then to use it, it just wants me to use font family Kablamo. So I'm just going to set it in the body. So I'm going to select the body and say that, come to my file and refresh the page. So ukitumia Kablamo inaonekana hivyo. That's how Kablamo looks like. But I don't want to use Kablamo. I'm going to use something else. I'm going to use Rubik. So I can nita scroll to juu nirudi hapa kwa Google Fonts. Ni search hapa Rubik. So italeta hii Rubik Mono 1 na hii Rubik ingine. Kuna Rubik kadhaa hapa. I only want this, the first one. Ndio niweke nini yangu ni uzito kidogo. So I select 300, 400, just the normal ones. See italics 500, 600 na 700. Ni click hapa juu kwa few selected families, then use import. Only once the inner thing there. Come hapa ni paste hapa juu. Then to use it, I only want to use that font family and change it here. Okay, I need to delete everything. Paste up. So if I refresh the page, that's how my page will look like. Now the font is better, everything is looking great, and everything is looking greener. So that's the basic thing in styling. So let's do the last part, that was the kitu niliwaambia ya switching colors. We want us to have some dark mode, so nita enable hiyo, ni disable hii, tuone mashida ziko wapi. So if I refresh the page, everything looks great except for our form and the colors in the form. Like hazionekani kabisa, hakuna kitu inaonekana. So we start by editing the color ya hii background ya hii card yetu. So how do we do that? So I just add another nini hapa, niseme card background card bg, niseme sasa nataka a different background kidogo, nitachukua hash 131419. So hii card yetu hapa chini kwa form, sign up form, tumeipea background ya white smoke. We just want ya variable kwa card background. If I refresh now, card imekuwa hiyo color ya dark. Now the inputs ziko na background yenye hatupendi. So for that I can come hapa juu niseme dash input bg, niseme ni so hii itakuwa something like RGBA. So 0.0 before. So that's the input background. Nikuja hapa kwa inputs hapa niseme background equals dash dash, that's for input background hivyo. Refresh the page. Now the inputs have switched, except imeswitch hadi ikaswitch nini, ikaswitch the label background. So sitaki change label background, nitaitoa hapo tu niweke mahali input na text area ziko tu, paste hapo. Refresh the page. Now the page is looking something greater. Next ni color. Unaona color imechange kwenda black, so we need to change the color of inputs. So hapa I say dash dash input color niseme white. Nikuja hapa hivi kwa input, I also say color equals to dash bar input color. So refresh the page. Input color sasa imechange kwenda white, everything goes with white. The next thing here unaweza change to make your form look better now is the buttons. Colors tunataka zikae na background kama ya input na color pia ya input, so that's what we just do. So I just copy this, go to the button itself, form btn, paste there, refresh the page. That's what we get. So nice looking buttons. Hii cursor yangu si nzuri, so we need to change the cursor of buttons. So I change the cursor to pointer. There are different cursors including a loading cursor. So refresh the page. Now my cursor has changed to a pointing cursor. But if we go to light mode, hii form yetu itaonekana vizuri. Just and the form is like iko juu chini imeshikana vibaya sana. So I just want to adjust the form a bit by adding some margin. Just margin on the top and the bottom. I just do that pixels, the auto left and right. So instead of just doing auto niitoe hapo, but sasa auto left and right, but top and the bottom ni 50 pixels. Refresh the page. Nimepeana space juu, ikapeana space chini. So that's what we have right now. Then I think you are able to see what we have done. So to switch our background or our styling, so kitu nitafanya just activate these ones. I copy these few ones zenye hazikuwa before na niongeze hapa. Refresh page, of course the form now is not looking great, but now we can just start changing the colors. Color is black. The background of our niche should be gray, something like gray. The input background here itakaa 0.RGB, itakuwa white smoke. The input color should be dark or black. If I refresh the page, now the color of our inputs of our form is not really great. So background color of the knee is not great. Turudishe white smoke. What I could do is maybe do some, yeah, let's just do white smoke. That's the easiest one to reach. But sasa imefananisha kila kitu with this. So chanioni gray inaonekana aje? Gray is not great, so let's reduce the colors using RGBA. So hii sitaifanya gray. I want it to be some blackish, so RGBA 0.2. What does it give? And the niweke white smoke sasa. Reduce this one to 1. Yeah, there we have our form. Ukiangalia this page now supports dark mode and light mode by just switching this. Ukiswitch kutoka kwenda hapo, save, comment out hii, this one. Now you have dark mode and light mode supported for your site. That's for the easier part. Now the next part, maybe kesho tutaanza kwa kuweka button tu ina switch hapa juu, dark light, hivyo tu. Yeah, I think story imekuwa mingi leo, si ndio? Umemute. Hizi tumeweka tu, yeah, hizi tumeweka tu placeholders. Like hii ni place, hii ni ya placeholder color, background placeholder, so I can be able to switch between the placeholder. Sasa hii placeholder, yeah. Anyway, uh, si rahisi but sababu nimefanya hivyo ndio ikupe moral, mbona unafaa usome CSS. Yeah. Mm? So the problem is, unaona venye Jeremy anafanya, acha nikuonyeshe. So if you are in W3 schools, unaona hapa hivi kwa W3 schools, kitu unafaa ufanye ni, unaona ukiwa hapa HTML, fanya vile Jeremy anafanya. Ana read kila kitu kando kando, sawa? For example, akakuja hapa akafungua, acha nifungue HTML tags, nazitafuta sizioni. Ziko wapi? Tag, tag. Control find. Ndio hii hapa, HTML tag list under HTML references. So anasoma moja moja, asomi vitu zote at once. Umeona? So yeye alikuja hapa akaanza kwa kusoma a tag, vile inatumika na mahali anaitumia hivyo. Umeona? Next akaenda akasoma article, akaona vile inatumika, sawa? Una copy hii unaenda una paste kwa HTML una run kwa browser, or you can just try it yourself, na inakuleta kwa page yenye iko na kila kitu. Doc type una copy hii unaenda unasoma una paste, you could run, you could edit it here right now and still it will work hapa mwisho. Like the article element, change it to something yenye hata ijulikani, it will still work the moment you run. So learn it that way, itakuwa sawa, but ile ya kupitia the paraphrasing it will be hard. Yeah, so you have to learn each element kando kando, uone vile inatumika. Ukimaliza hiyo, now you could go back and learn other few things hapa, for example HTML, JavaScript. Yeah, so unakuja hapa so unaweza anza usome tu hizi HTML headings, hii ni nini wamefanya hapa, HTML paragraphs, what have they done here, styles ni nini. Unaona, with the time utakuwa unaelewa, oh, body for example hii ni inline styling. Yeah, kwenda chini kwenda chini kwenda chini, you will be good. Kindly soma tu hii HTML, fungua hii page ikae best friend yako. Ukielewa HTML, CSS yenye tumefanya saa hii na JavaScript itakuwa easier. But if you fail at this particular point, ndio itakuwa ngumu. Yeah, but at least hatujagusa JavaScript. Hapana, hii ni CSS na HTML. Yeah, but at least leo the form is hiyo, ya hiyo form yako sasa nimekuachia kazi, kitu nataka ufanye recreate the same page. I will just share the original page and this updated page, look through them, uone difference nini imekuwa ikihappen huku huku huku. And how can you do that? Unaona, this is the new code folder, si ndio? Na the other folder nitafungua hiyo folder ingine, nikuje niseme mahali iko hapa under day, is it day 4? Yeah, ndio hiyo, ni open hiyo folder. So I have two folders open, moja ni set hii side ingine, nikuje niangalie hiyo ingine, hii ni set hiyo side ingine, alafu I can hide the sidebar Kukiliki hapa kwa view inaweza kuambia hide sidebar, show console, hide tabs, sidebar, niseme hide sidebar, ni hide sidebar. Nikuja hapa kwa file, after nishafungua file yangu. View, let me just show the sidebar. So sidebar iko hapo, nikuje ni click index file, alafu nikuje view, niseme sidebar, hide the sidebar. Hapa nimefungua index.html file, yes. Nikuje niseme view, hide sidebar, hivyo. So I have two files to compare from. This is the original. Naona iko na hizi vitu hapa juu. Let me just get rid of them before I share. Iko na hizo vitu hapo juu. Then this is the new one. Hii iko na classes, hii haina. Umeona? That's how it goes. We just converted this hii yenye ilikuwa inaonekana vile inaonekana to something which is greater. Now this one. And that's how it goes. So let me just share my code zips. Utajua ni gani after umezipata. So hii nitaita code 2, alafu mbele nimesema styled, alafu ingine huko nyuma hii nitaita code 1. Hii nitakopi hizo niziweke ndani ya folder moja. Hii code 1 nitakutumia tu file peke yake kando. So let me just share the file. Sawa, so here we go. So that's what we have for today. Sidhani kama kuna kitu kingine. Okay, yes, that's right. So this is the styled code with the styling. And let me share the other file too. I'll just do the video. I think, yeah. Uh, this is the HTML file without styling. Hivyo tu. Code 2 style na nimekutumia iko na video ndani. No, hii huwezi kudownload, itakusumbua. Let me just zip the right thing. Wapi hiyo code 2? Hii ya hii class. Actually ni hii, si hiyo ingine. This one, yes. 10th, na mbona iko styled? Kwani nimekuwa nikistylia wapi? Yeah, sounds nimekuwa nikistylia hapa. Let me compress these two. Index file na index.html. Compress. Niseme styled code. And I send the styled code here. There we go. So, yes. Yeah, ukidai kufungua folder, unaona hapa juu kwa hii file. If you just hover kwa file, yeah, unakuja ufungui, so yeah, una right click, unaongeza file. Just add a file there. Yeah. Remember to unakuja una control S, control save, unaisave kama ama hiyo, it can be index, it can be anything. Provided mwisho ikae na .css. Yeah. Then ukilink unakuja kwa index file yako, unaanza kutype link. Ikukuletea option ya autocomplete, hit enter, alafu type // alafu nasema style.css. This the name actually I passed in. Hii jina tu iko hapa. stle.css. That's what I did. Otherwise hivyo, siniachie hapa, mimi niko na makazi kadhaa. kitu kitu yenye nataka ufanye kindly, just read through W3 schools, you will be happy. Sawa. Fit. Night.